In today's episode of the Pathmark Presents podcast, I'm here with Poon, and he is sailing over as the VP of Sales and Marketing at Anewgo. And today we're going to be learning what Anewgo is all about. It's a very interesting um, product for home builders, and it basically, will help you to put your imagination into something tangible. Today we're going to be learning what Anewgo is all about and how Andrew is thinking about growth. So welcome to the show.
Thanks, Lucas. I'm super excited to be here.
Very cool. Yeah, give us that 360 rundown. What is Anewgo all about?
Yeah, so we sell software to home builders, like you said, and the idea is that we can offer the most seamless online customer journey for their buyers. Okay, so online is really an operational word here. So we allow for home buyers to find, design, experience, and buy their dream homes all online. So let me kind of actually ask you something. If you were to imagine somebody in the States, searching for a new home, where do you think that process begins?
So this is not purchasing an existing house. This is like building a brand new house.
Well,
Yeah?
either
Right?
way,
Yeah.
if let's say you're looking for a house, where do you think that most people would start that journey?
Probably in one of those house listing places, I would say.
Yeah, well, and when you say house listing places, it's probably what you're talking about is online, right? So
Yeah.
so 96%, at least 96% of all home searches begin online, and that's actually a study 2 years ago already. So
Yeah.
it's safe to say that pretty much every single home search begins online. And you actually drove to the heart of the question, which is, hey, for pre-existing homes, it's actually pretty simple, right? Like you find the house, you visit the house. If you like it, you put in an offer. But all that confidence for this huge purchase comes from actually physically being in the house, viewing the house. And so you feel comfortable, you fall in love with it. For new construction, it's a completely different paradigm where you may see something you like, but what's that combination going to look like? How does that actually come together? So what we've done is we've created software. It started as visualization software so that buyers could design their home. They could see how different structural options were going to look, how they're going to play together, how the exterior paint colors will look. So that's really where we started. And so what that turned into is we became this very robust software for sales and marketing. And so after a buyer has interacted with their home and built this dream home, we allow for our builders to collect those leads, nurture those leads, and then we actually just rolled out something that we're really excited about, which is a buy now feature. So they can actually convert those leads and people can buy or reserve a house online after they've designed it. So we're extremely excited about some of those things that we're doing and how we're shaping the new construction industry.
So do I get that right? That sort of like house builders, house building companies use that as a lead generation kind of tool where people explore the houses and then turn into leads?
That's absolutely right. So the home builders will sometimes they will embed it into their website. Sometimes they'll send it directly through email campaigns. Sometimes they have it in their sales center. So it's really this tool where people can come in and understand the actual offering and fall in love with the combinations because hey, seeing is believing, honestly. And if you have a home that doesn't exist, is not built anywhere, this is kind of as good as it gets. So we're really trying to make sure that buyer expectation will match the eventual reality.
Very cool. And I'm curious now, within those house building companies, who is reaching out? Who has that vision to say, hey, we need to bring in that extra experience? Because there's tons of websites out there that do not have an experience like that yet. Who's doing that step? Is that like the business owner? Is that like a website guy? Is that like, who's doing that?
Yeah, historically, we've been known to the marketing community. So usually it's a marketing manager, a VP of marketing that's going to reach out initially, but it is really becoming all over the map. Sometimes it's an IT manager and they're reaching out and saying, hey, somebody told me that we need a solution that's. It's funny because the concept of interactivity when it comes to designing a new home, it's not a new concept in the fact that a lot of people have imagined it or thought about it, but they're trying to figure out how to actually search it or find it. A lot of our clients will finally come to us and they say, oh, it took me so long to find you. And when I did, it's like exactly what was my brain. I just didn't know how to search for it. So
Yeah, makes sense.
yeah.
Now, you as a VP of sales and marketing, like, what have you seen? How do people learn about Anewgo? You mentioned obviously you've been in the industry for a long time, the company, at least the trajectory of the company. So how did it learn about you guys? Well, what are the key client acquisition channels that you guys use?
Yeah, that is a tricky question, honestly, because for a long time, the history of our company is that we just started with the images, right? Like we didn't have any software. And so that was actually a lot more simple because in terms of search strings, people were saying, I need a rendering of a house, which is our old name was Rendering House. When we decided to become, really dig down and become a software company, that's when we said, hey, we need to make a new go of it. So that's why we named ourselves Anewgo. But like I said, there's a lot of things that happen where people are putting these extremely long search strings in there, just trying to dig through a ton of websites. So initially when we just overhauled the website last summer, and initially we were getting so much hit or miss traffic because when you think about searching something like interactive floor plans or exterior designs, interactive exterior designs, well, yeah, you may get builders, but you may also get DIYers that are just trying to figure out how to do something for their weekend project. So, a lot of that was, how do we create the content that's going to drive people towards us and actually put quality content out that's going to help us to, target the keywords that will then help us to raise that visibility. And we all know that, as marketers, we all know kind of this organic process of, all right, let's be very focused on raising the visibility through these keywords. And so that's what we've really focused on as far as kind of being found in organic ways, is focusing on keywords, driving that visibility up. And we've seen tremendous success over the past 4 months as far as actually getting leads in the door that are looking for our solution. And then the other thing, which is very much, I won't say it's specific to our industry, but it's certainly a big driver, is the builder will see their competitor have a really cool tool on their website, and then they will do their homework and sniffing around and they will find us as well. So that's actually a really big lead source for us as well. We're trying to expand that by doing more speaking engagements. We're trying to actually do a lot of speaking engagements that are outside of just our industry, because as I'll tell you about as we go, but historically we've been B2B. And next year we are actually making a leap and adding B2C to that as well. So there's a lot of new marketing strategies that are happening, that we're scheming, and that will go into play in next month.
Yeah,
really.
from what you described, I think the B2C route will be a very, very interesting one, because obviously you learned how people, convert from those pages through the builders. That's super interesting. Very cool. Yeah, I want to talk a bit about the website. You mentioned Anewgo has been, or actually Anewgosell.com has been revamped last summer. What role do you think it plays for you guys? What role do you contribute to the website? How do you think about it?
Yeah, it's a mixture of education. One, there's so much language that is still being defined for our industry. So a lot of our website is based on, hey, how do we get them, at least how do we get the hook in there, right? Like, how do we not give them a PhD on AI in the home building network, but how do we make sure that we say, hey, we're doing it in a smart way that you might be interested in. So how do we get them on the call, right? Our website alone, just because our product offering is becoming so large and so robust, our website alone is not going to convert most of our clients. Like, they're not going to say, all right, I saw your website, sign me up for enterprise software. They're going to get on the phone. So that's really what our website is aimed at doing, is educating, so that they say, I'm very curious, let's get on the phone. But the other thing is, when it comes to home builders, there is a wide range of different types of home builders. So for instance, there's, think of like a Lennar.com or Lennar, which has a production home building operation, and they build hundreds of thousands of homes and they repeat plans. And then on the other side, there's a fully custom home builder that builds 5 homes a year and they never repeat a single plan. So how do we have a website that, first of all, how do we focus on the lion's share of what our leads are looking for? But then in the off chance that somebody does come, is there space in there for them to quickly find what they're looking for? So our website kind of tries to make sure that we have different paths that they can find their solution using.
That makes sense. I'm curious, right? Before we're moving on from the topic on the website, you've been in very interesting roles, and now you've been in VP Sales and Marketing. Maybe last point on the website, like how do you think about in that journey and people coming from very different angles of mindset into the journey? Some very different types of home builders. How do you think about what approaches or things or tools have you picked up in order to figure out why people do or do not sign up for that conversation with you guys from the website? Any tools, any approaches that you could share, with other marketers on the show?
Yeah. So, for any marketers or sales teams that are not doing disco calls, we do recommend doing disco calls, just because when you have a wide offering, I mean, sure. What I generally do is I do open-ended disco calls. So I'll schedule the 15 minutes, but I'll make sure that I have 45-minute cushion just in case that buyer is going to say, oh, yeah, this is exactly what I want. And if you have time, I'm open for a demo right now. Because to me, that is a critical point in time where you already have them on the phone. So let's go ahead and convert them right away. So that's a really big way that we make sure that we can convert different types of leads. Now, the other thing is kind of trying to get into those different personas, right? So like one persona that we serve semi-frequently is a real estate agent. So they're not a builder, but they've been set with the task of marketing a home. So what they're going to be looking for is like really a small project where they say, hey, can you do like one rendering of one house for us? So how do we put the commodity pricing on the website so that they have all the information they need to make a decision right there, as opposed to the, Lennar or some large builder that's going to come to us and we say, no, we got to sit down for an hour or two to walk through this offering and the impact and, kind of discuss the impacts that it's going to have on your business.
Very cool. Cool. Let's switch gears a little bit. I want to get to, since we're slowly approaching the end of the interview, I want to get to know you a little bit better and have some rapid fire questions for you. Are you ready for those?
Sure.
What's the last book you read or the last podcast you listened to?
Oh, man. Last book I read is Moonwalking with Einstein. I don't know if you've heard of that one, but it's a book by this guy, Joshua Foer, who was a journalist and just became very curious about the science of memory. And so I think most people can attest that they have bad memory. And so as being one of those people, I was very interested in that book, and it's been cool. There's actually been some great applications there that helped me to remember names and numbers a lot better. But that was a really fun read. And then podcasts, I don't know, probably something by Guy Raz, how to build this.
Very cool. What's the one single thing your company's focused on the most at the moment?
Oh, yeah. So, I mentioned that next year we're doing B2C. So when we look at kind of sales and marketing online, it's a new thing, because used to be there's marketing and then you hand it off to sales, and it's a very siloed process, and it's okay for it to be siloed. But now, because everything's online and everything happens so fast, we really have to focus on all of it at once. So, we kind of break it down into 4 pillars. How do you attract your traffic? How do you engage that traffic? How do you nurture those leads? And how do you convert those leads? Now, we do a lot of engaging the traffic, nurturing the leads, and now converting leads. And probably where we fall short a little bit is attracting traffic. And our mentality is that since it's all online, it's all together, if you lack any 4 of those, that's kind of the weak link in the chain, right? And so there's a chance that lead is going to go somewhere else. So for us, that's why we've kind of made this decision to go B2C. So what we're doing is next year we'll be launching a shopping portal for new homes. Think Zillow, but really focused on those that are interested in new homes and really becoming the de facto destination for those home shoppers that are interested in
testing. I mean, I could see very much from you. It's super interesting. It's super, super interesting.
Absolutely.
If there would be no boundaries in tech, right? So everything is possible. What's the one thing you would fix for your role today?
Oh, man. It's kind of funny. Sometimes I know that this is almost a touchy subject, but sometimes I miss how invasive Facebook targeting used to be. where like you could like drill down by like purchase behavior, how much that person has spent over this and that. But you know that there's a lot of challenges that we face right now that I've kind of already touched upon, where you get the wrong people, and it's the same search term. Like it's so hard to sort them, because in fact it is the search term that we want people to find us using. So you know, if there was a way for us to really boil down and get deeper targeting, that would be amazing.
Very cool. And the very last question would be, right? I want to do a bit of time travel with you. Let's go back to the days of North Carolina State. So basically, now you're heading out of formal education. You head off into your world of, you know, you've been in the realtor world, obviously, for a while, and then also been, you know, different management roles, and now VP of Sales and Marketing. So I'm curious, what's the one advice you would give yourself for that journey?
Oh yeah, and I would say that I did an okay job of it, but even better is just fail fast, right? So my degree was in engineering. I switched into sales, then I did entrepreneurship, then I did real estate, and now honestly, my role is really kind of a combination of my entire career journey. And so I think by failing fast, I was able to kind of you know, time travel or kind of jumpstart to where I am today, just because I was able to pick up so many pieces of knowledge along the way. And you know, the other nice thing about failing fast is sometimes you'll find yourself in roles that, hey, maybe they're not the worst roles, but they're not, they don't put that passion in you. And I think when you fail fast, you're able to find that very, you know, a lot more quickly than you would otherwise. So that's definitely a piece of advice that I still try to adhere to, but I would even drive it home further if I could talk to young me.
Very cool. It makes a whole lot of sense. Yeah, really appreciate you taking the time for the Pathmark Presents podcast. I want to give you the last word. If somebody would be forgetting all that we discussed about Anewgo today, what's the one thing they should remember?
Yeah, Anewgo is a place where you can find, design, experience, and buy your dream home all online. And we are working very hard to make the most seamless customer journey for new home buyers.
Thanks a lot for being a guest on Pathmark Presents.
Thanks, Lucas.